Hello, and welcome back to the B-side. I do want to thank everybody that listened last week. I do appreciate the feedback, and I think I answered everybody. If I didn't answer you, holler at me, and I'll answer you specifically. So I'll try to, like I said, I think I got everybody. Again, had this on audio, had it on iTunes, Spotify, and I've got it on YouTube if you want to do that. Plus, there's a link on our website, 7poundbag.com. But again, thank you for taking a look at it. I do know last week I said I was going to speak about Avengers versus Justice League as far as our ongoing hero fights storyline, but I do want to go in and first kind of talk about power sets. I kind of delved in this somewhat last week when I spoke about Iron Man versus Superman, but I do kind of want to break down how I look at who beats who. Okay, because first we've got to look at human versus human, and I think a lot of times this kind of boils down, and again, it kind of comes back to plot armor and Batman specifically. And I'm going to talk a bit about Batman just because he's Batman. First off, there's a question of, could, and the UFC fighter, could John Jones beat Batman? Could, Khabib beat Hawkeye? Could, UFC fighter X beat hero Y? And it really kind of depends on what's going down. So you have to look at how things go. Take me, for example. 6'2", 300 pounds, boxed for several years, know a little bit about the ground game, know a little bit about wrestling, played football, etc. and so forth. How would I do in your average street fight? Well, it depends on who I'm going up against. How would I do against your average MMA fighter? I'd get the tar kicked out of me. Fully admit it. 20 years ago, I'd have got the tar kicked out of me. 18 years old, I'd have got the tar kicked out of me. There's training, there's regiments there. At the peak of my powers, could I beat a guy in a regular MMA fight, amateur? Maybe. Could I beat a guy in the UFC? No. I mean, let's just be honest with each other, shall we? Could, say, GSP beat Hawkeye? No. Could John Jones beat Batman? No. Here's the reason why, and you need to think about this. When John Jones enters that cage, when any cage fighter enters that cage, he knows he's going to wake up tomorrow. He knows he's probably going to wake up in his own bed tomorrow. Worst case scenario, he may be held overnight for observation. But he's going to survive. They may sit there, and you get a lot of this in the Ultimate Fighter. You got to kill me to beat me, or I've got to die to lose. No, you're not. I mean, Dana White, certain people may fuss about Steve Mazzagatti, the refs, Herb Dean, all that good stuff. A late stoppage, you're not going to die. Nobody's ever died in a UFC cage. I've probably attended couple dozen fights. Everybody's always gotten up. A couple occasions they even have to go to the hospital. I mean, even at the lowest level MMA fights, they get up and they walk out. To my knowledge, nobody's actually died in the cage. They've died at the hospital later on, but nobody's ever actually, been pronounced dead by the ringside doctor. And even in boxing, which is much more dangerous than MMA, it's still rare that somebody dies. So, John Jones is going to go into that cage, and he's going to know that worst case scenario, he's still going to be okay. He's still going to live. He may be in a cast for 6 months, but he's still going to live. Okay? Somebody like Batman, Hawkeye, Captain America, whatever, they get into a one-on-one fight. They don't know if they're going to come out alive. They don't know, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. They know if they don't win, they are dead. If they don't do the right thing at the right time, other people around them die. Shield agents, whatever, are going to be dead based on how they act. If Hawkeye doesn't make this shot or doesn't defeat this guy, something's going to explode and they're going to be dead. It's a different set of circumstances. Batman goes into fights on a regular basis where if he doesn't live, he is a dead man. So there's a completely different mentality there. So no, I can't think of push comes to shove, my eyeball's been gouged out, etc. and so forth, that they may have that, but they haven't experienced that. And it's it's first time usage type thing. Plus they've got all day to sit there and train and all this other stuff. And yeah, Batman is kind of the plot armor guy, type 1 for, stage planning a fight. And I'm sorry, having, Greg Jackson behind you versus what Batman's going to come up with the Bat computer, that's two totally different fight preparations. So no, I'll take pretty much any exceptional hand-to-hand combatant in the major comics universe over any UFC fighter. Just gonna. Uh, so, and then you have basically everybody. You have like all your top level MMA guys, then you have your top level comic fighters, then you have Batman, then you have Captain America. And that's where your humanity basically ends when it comes to hand to hand combat. Again, until you start getting into the magic fighters, but that's a whole different story. But to end on that, I do want to kind of look at how I break down power set versus power set. And I think our first option is we have to look at, even though, again, I do love the Marvel Handbook, I do have a whole bunch of the Marvel cards, which I'll probably eBay one day, I'll let you know, where they kind of break everything down, like 1 through 7, power grids, things like that. To me, that gets a little too complicated. To me, that's bringing too much junk into it. What am I worried about on a fight? I'm looking at offense, defense, and mental abilities. And it's, to me, that makes it real easy to go who versus who. Can this guy, because I can bench press a bus, I can throw a truck, I can bring down a building. Okay, how are you in a fight though? How much can you actively do that? So when I look at offense, I'm basically looking at offensive firepower. And I break it down this way. And if you go to 7poundbag.com when I release this, I'll write it up and I'll actually put it out there. And we could argue about this all day. But here's how I look at it. Number one, I'll put you in a regular room. Can you destroy everything in that room? Okay, that's number one. That's most humans. If I go into a hotel room and I've got 15 minutes, I can pretty much destroy everything in there. Rip apart the bed, tear up the mattress, break the windows, break the glass, punch holes in the wall. I can do all that kind of stuff. Okay, level 2, can you bring down a house? I'm talking about your average, ordinary, 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. I can't bring that down. I can't bring that, without machinery, I can't bring that house down in 15 minutes, okay? Spider-Man can. Thing can. Hulk can. Etc. and so forth. That's firepower. Batman can with his gadgets. Hawkeye can with his arrows. But that is, I can bring, they can bring down a house. So I'm a 1, for example. Level 3, can you bring down a building? I'm talking like your average 3-story brick downtown building. Can you bring that down in 15 minutes? I can't. Batman probably can't. Hawkeye probably can, based on what arrows he's got. Spider-Man certainly can. She-Hulk certainly can, etc. and so forth. Level 5, can you bring down a city? Level 4, can you bring down a city block? I'm talking like 7 or 8 buildings. Okay, here we're probably ending Batman. Here, Spider-Man can probably still do it. Hulk obviously can. Thor obviously can. But again, this is kind of where a lot of our human level superhero type people can do. Wrecking Crew can. Next up, can I destroy a city? And I'm talking like average city. I mean, this is widespread destruction. Again, Hulk, yes. Thor, yes. Spider-Man cannot. Batman cannot. You're not bringing down 10 square miles. You're not leveling 10 square miles of concrete, at Spider-Man's power level. Can the Thing? Probably not. But you kind of see how I'm going out here. Okay, next up, level 6, continent. Can I destroy a continent? Can I basically level, Australia? Can I level Europe? Well, again, Hulk certainly can. Thor, I'm not sure he can. I think we've kind of hit Thor level here. I think we've hit She-Hulk level here. So a lot of people, like I said, are Superman obviously can. Can the Flash? Here's our question. 15 minutes to Flash is how long? A couple of years to a regular person. So I think Flash probably could destroy a continent, level everything on it. Basically he's picking up a tree and kind of running real fast and running over everything. But again, kind of depends on how you're looking at the Speed Force with his lightning and all that. But about where you're at here. Level 7, planet. Can I destroy the Earth? Okay, again, this is Hulk. Again, Superman. Flash is kind of out, regardless of how you think about the Speed Force. Thor's definitely out, in my mind. But again, Silver Surfer, certainly. Darkseid, certainly. But this is when you're starting to get really upper level here. And again, you kind of see how I'm going exponentially. Level 8, can you destroy the sun? This is, I think, kind of where Hulk kind of taps out. I think Superman, I don't know if he can destroy the sun or not. Silver Surfer, I think, can. Quasar probably can. You've got several other heroes that cannot. I mean, can Champion do it? No. Can Darkseid? I don't know. Can Thanos? No. But I think, without the glove, of course. But I think this is kind of where a lot of your guys kind of tap out. 9, can you destroy a solar system? Again, you got 15 minutes. Can you destroy the solar system? Well, if I take out the sun, I mean, I kind of do blow it up. But can I go? Do I have enough time left after destroying the sun to go out and destroy everything out there? Again, I'm in cosmic level range. Level 10, of course, can I destroy the entire universe? Can I go from plane to plane and destroy multiple universes? And I think I think that's a good gauge. I go from a room to a building to a continent, etc., and so forth. And I think that kind of tells me, as far as offensive powers, how good am I? And I think it's, in my mind, it's legitimate. Let me know what you think. Don't mind debating. Second up, durability. How much punishment can I take? And with superheroes, that's always hard to do, because goodness knows, you look at real life, how many of these guys are actually going to survive these battles? I mean, true, Batman gets his back broken and walks it off, but still, how does most of us go? So obviously, I'm average human, so I have average human durability. I'm sitting there at basically a straight 0 or 1, depending on how you want to go about it. Number 1, knife proof. Can you be stabbed with an ordinary kitchen knife or with a blade break off? Most heroes basically wear almost Kevlar body armor, so they can't really get hit that much. Bare skin pierces me, pierces pretty much every other hero. Does it pierce the Hulk? Absolutely not. She-Hulk? Absolutely not. Doc Samson? Absolutely not. Superman? Absolutely not. We move on. Number 2, straight bullet. 5.6 caliber, M60 rifle, headshot, I'm dead. Batman, dead. Flash, dead, depending on whether or not he catches it. Yes, I know. She-Hulk just ticks her off. The Hulk probably doesn't even feel it. Thor, no problem. Superman, like that famous shot in the movie, bounces off his eyeball. All that good fun stuff. Number 3, TNT. If I strap a ton of TNT to your chest and I ignite it, are you still basically standing there? Again, drops off a couple of our heroes. She-Hulk, Hulk, Thor, Superman, they're all fine. They're moving on here. Number 4 is kind of where I drop off from a lot of heroes. Just because you kind of have to look at it. And it's basically when regeneration hits. Can I regenerate? Now, humans regenerate, if you really think about it. If I cut your skin, eventually it does kind of grow over and you get a little bit of a scar. We all regenerate. The liver regenerates. But I'm talking like actual regeneration. And basically, do I regenerate from wounds? That's my 4. 5, do I regenerate from what is a mortal wound? In other words, if I reach in your chest Indiana Jones style and pull your heart out, do you regenerate? Okay. 6, if you are completely basically run through a wood chipper, will you come back together? Okay, fine. That is level 6. Level 7, can you survive in space? Again, we're back to, usually I could see swapping regeneration till after space, but I'm kind of putting it after, just because I think, again, and I kind of go back and forth between, is space 7 or is it 4? But you can put it at you will. Can you survive in space without any kind of protection? Thor can. We never really know if Hulk can, because in some comics he's fine. He's holding his breath. Other comics he's wearing an air mask. So you don't really know if Hulk can survive in space. So it's kind of hard. Superman obviously can. Silver Surfer obviously can. Galactus, no problem. But I think you're looking at space there. 8, you're looking at surviving death. And again, 8, 9, depending on what level of death you're talking about. Is it death because you just can't? 9 is like death because you're like cursed. 10th is basically true immortality. There's nothing that can do to ever end you. If the earth ever contracts down to the Big Bang, you're going to be there. There's only one guy that has 10, and that's Galactus. Basically because everything else is BS in my mind. But when you survive from one universe ending to the new universe coming up, that's you. Again, till you get to like cosmic entities and things like that, and everything's been retconned under the sun. But when I was reading comics and with the Jack Kirby thing and all that, only being that's going to survive the universe exploding is Galactus, and he's going to die and somebody else is going to come back. But anyway, moving on. After that, we are looking at basically the mental powers, our third leg of the trifecta, so to speak. And it's basically kind of simple. You've either got how you mess with mind, how you mess with matter. And this one's not as clearly defined because there is something called free will that you do have to look at when you look at the mental aspects. But basically what I'm looking at, level one, it's how you control, one person. Can you say, hey, blink your eyes? Yeah, you can blink your eyes. That's basic hypnosis type stuff. Number two, do you have total control? Say Purple Man. You're going to, hey, go over there and punch that wall. Hey, go over there and stick your head in that wall. I think that's like your next level. After that, can you tell them to kill themselves? Self-preservation is a huge thing, and it will break a lot of hypnosis controls. If you can command somebody to stick a knife in their throat, I think you're above, I think that's the next level up. After that, you're looking at number of people. Can you control 10 people? Can you control 100 people? Can you control 1,000 people? And you kind of go upward from there. That's the mental aspect. The other side of mental is matter. And you kind of fit these in as you want. I kind of have it as 1A, 1B type thing. But it's how much matter can you control? Do you control anything within like what you can physically pick up? Do you control anything and you can actually make it change states of matter? Do you just control fire things? Are you a airbender, etc. and so forth? So it's kind of how you classify that. Me personally, I go to controlling this, to controlling how much matter I can control. Can I control more than I can pick up? Can I control everything I can see? Then I go into actual changing, affecting states of matter. I can control fire, I control water. After that, I control elemental physics. This is where Magneto comes in, because he can control basically everything dealing with magnetism. After that, I look at, can I change matter? This is where Firestorm comes in. Can I take a block of lead and make it gold, so to speak? Because I think that's way over being able to control water, because you're actually able to affect things on an atomic level. After that, I kind of go cosmic again. Can I do something where I'm going to change a planet into a big ball of popcorn? Can I change things on a world status level? Can I change things in other dimensions? And again, that's where we hit our 10 gauge, where if I can matter manipulate. But that is how I look at power sets. You do know I don't mention flight or certain tools, certain aspects or things like that, because the way I look at it, okay, if the thing's punching you or trying to bring down a city building, how much is flight helping you? But if I'm super strong and I can fly, then maybe I can destroy a city block quicker in my little 15-minute arbitrary time limit. So yeah, flight does build in, and it may help you destroy a room or a house just because I can pick up momentum and slam into it. But overall, from an offensive capability, does that really matter? But it may help you as far as actual combat stylings. But again, does it really help you as far as pure offense is what I'm after. So that is going to bring this week to a close. I do appreciate you dialing up and listening in. Make sure you hit our website. I'm going to draw all this up. Basically, you'll kind of see my little line here. If you've got a hero, you want to try to see if we can break it down this way, or if you think there's a power set that I missed. Again, I kind of try to make things a little simple. Again, intelligence does lead into offensive and to a certain point matter capabilities, because again, I got to think of a way in 15 minutes to bring down this building. I got to think of a way to see if I can destroy this continent. Kind of depends on what you're looking at. And where do you fall certain heroes into it? Let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll talk about them next week. I'll try to get into my Avengers versus Justice League comparison. We'll talk about that. Again, certain things like intangibility, like say when the Vision becomes intangible, how does that work with durability? Well, again, he can survive TNT. Does that mean he can survive indefinitely in space, or does he eventually have to phase back in? He's certainly not regeneration, so right there, that kind of tells you where I'm kind of putting him. But y'all have a great day. I will see you next week, Friday. Again, I will try to hit the A side. Life got in the way. I do apologize. But y'all have a great day, and thank you.